Hi there everyone, it is Milmel here and I am back for the final two stages of this Telltale Part 2 and this is Act number 1. Now we've just got the guys going through a bit of background or storyline here. We're going to use the exact same teams that I've been using, which have got through these stages fairly comfortably. Like I said, these earlier stages don't have a very high difficult level and they're fairly easy to most degree. You'll probably only struggle if you're in one of the newer regions such as Where or somewhere like that that's only recently started and you've not quite got the characteristic that you want, but you still should get through this stage fairly easy. You know, a B++ team grade is not very hard to reach and these guys die easy enough with little amounts of damage. As you can see, I've not got a high team grade there and we just lost Michonne, which is what happens. I know I always talk about if trying to bring in two major traits rather than one, or one trait rather than a mixture of traits, just purely because that's what happens if you come in against people and you've only got one trait but then a dominant other trait, then that one person will always get targeted by that other trait and you can lose them very quickly like I did Michonne there. That's alright, we've got smell and salts for a reason, which become more valuable now that you have these 3-star ranking systems. It's only natural being human and wanting to be competitive that you want to get all 3 of those stars. So smell and salts, and if you have lucky enough to have a reviver like Herschel or that blue Abe, that's going to be an extra bonus. I do have that Hirsch, so he's been great when I've been replaying some of the higher stages. I can sort of just put it on fast forward and he always is reviving that one person, which is nice. And so like I said, if you sort of have these one trait, if you try and stick to a majority either one trait or 2 trait part, then you're going to limit your amount of weaknesses not only to other traits, but you're going to help distribute the damage through those traits. Now these guys, I've lost a few already and that's just purely because they're not upgraded. Like I said, these guys do fire back. Zombies don't really fire back at you unless they get close and give you a little bit of a nudge. So it sort of shows the weakness in regards to health and your defense when you come up to these stages, but that's alright. That's just when you use your battle items or you try and bring in a healer. As you see, I do not have a healer, which has really disadvantaged me a lot, but that's okay. I've got my smell and salts, I've got my replenishers to try and keep them topped up like here, and I'm just going to keep going through that and keep them all alive to get that 3-star bonus, which at this stage doesn't give me too much double XP, but it's just the fact to say you finished with 3 stars, right? Yep, that's definitely why, because you just want to see them 3 stars come up. So that is, as you can see there, you get the Telltale tokens on that one. So if you have a medium drop or medium booster that can help those drop rates, then you might actually get more than that 125 I just got. So that's probably a little bit of a tip if you haven't already finished this stage, is maybe try and bring in a medium booster and get that extra bit of tokens, which could mean you win something later on. So we'll just keep continuing through and knocking these stages out. Now as you can see, my roster's full, my houses are full. I will get to them later, but at the moment do not have time for that. Just want to get through these stages and move on to the next act and things like that. So we'll keep going back to zombies, which this team is predominantly set up for, is the zombies with the Rick leader there. So that's another reason they did just previously struggle in that stage 7 with the people, is because it's not really set up for people. But like I said, this team isn't fantastic and they still got through with the help of a few smell and salts and battle items, so you should be able to get through these stages still fairly comfortably. If you're not too concerned about getting the 3 stars, you don't have to be really concerned about that. I just like getting the 3 stars. Then you should, it's going to make it that bit easier because you're not having to revive them because you want the 3 stars to appear. But these guys are definitely set up for zombies more than people, but they got through that people stage easy enough, with the help of those battle items, which is why we always pack them in. I got, early on in playing this game, I got into a really bad habit of not actually packing my battle items, and then stage would turn out harder than I thought it would have been and I didn't have any battle items. So it's just a good habit to always pack those battle items, whether you need them or not. It's a nice extra backup to have, just in case things do go a bit south and get a bit hard and sneak up on you that bit quickly. You do have those battle items. You got 4 slots there, you can put a lot of great things in there to help you out. Depending on how you use your team and what sort of team you have is going to depend on how you set up your battle items. If you have a lot of healers, you're less likely to bring in replenishers and things like that. So just remember that. Another set of tokens there, so a medium booster would also be good for them last few stages, just to get them extra bit of tokens. You might get more than the 125 and the 175. You might get that bit extra, which is what you want, because every little bit counts. At the end of this 6-day trial or token special they're doing, they actually will get converted into supply points. So don't be afraid to have too many or not be able to open them all evenly, because you will actually still get them back just in supply points, which is a nice consideration for Scopely. Usually they just, whatever's left over, they will just run with it. So there you can see there's 500 purple tokens, a bird, and a few other things. Thanks for watching.